Well, today, myself, Jake, and Logan, and Janice, Jake's dog, came out here to do a little bit of scouting, and we were hoping that this whole big bottom field was going to be corn. Last 2 years it's been beans, so we just assumed that this would be the year that it was corn, and that is not the case. Third year in a row that this is beans. I was really hoping to come check out some of these little fingers that are out in the middle of the field, basically little islands, where I was assuming deer were going to bed with standing corn. With beans, they'll probably bed there in the summer, but it's not as interesting to us as if it was standing corn. A sea of corn is like just this major wall that a lot of hunters and predators aren't generally coming through. We have to change our plans here and kind of go into it with a different mission of scouting. There is a bedding area back here that I know is a bedding area, but I don't know a lot of specifics about it, so I'm gonna have to just switch things up a little bit. It's always good to check spots out before you come and hunt them, because I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but you get here and it's beans and not corn. It's gonna change some things for your strategy. Here we go. Dude, it's a huge buck. Like, his body's giant, and I can see his antlers are big from here. Right where, I mean, right off that point, dude. I mean, like, basically right where we wanted to check. Janny, come here. Hey, come here. Come here. Have a sit. Have a sit. Did you look at him some?
Yeah.
He's good, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to look at his antlers, so now he's good enough for me.
I saw his body all the way over there. I was like, if that's one deer, that's a toad.
Last year's victim.
Well, right now we're up on top of that bedding area. So we're right at the top of the ridge. And as you can see behind Logan and I, there's a long strip of, at one point this was just like mowed or something, I would say, or an old road. But there's no trees right here, right on top. As you go up this edge, there's a lot of beds right on the edge of the fence facing down the hill. And I know from past experiences, there's beds just scattered throughout this whole cedar bottom. On the side hill, we'd expect a lot of the deer are going to be bedding down there, but this is such a good travel corridor. There's just tons of scrapes running up and down it. What we've kind of come to the conclusion of is the way that we would hunt this the first time, and it would probably be like an October type, like
Mid to late October, cold day in the morning.
figure we could come in here, sneak around the fields where we think the deer are going to be bedded. When they're coming back in here to bed with the wind at their back facing those open areas. It's just going to give us a good idea of how the deer are moving through this bedding area in the mornings, and then we'll probably revisit it again during the rut. We're just basically going to make a quick swath through here one morning.
You're saying revisited, and that's if we don't get an opportunity at a buck the first time.
Right.
This is similar. It's a different type of habitat, but the style of hunting is similar to when Zach and I had that buck come at us when we had the decoy last fall. We're just going straight into where we expect deer to be moving, real slow, listening. Hope we'll probably do it on a calm day. Anyway, we'll be using the conditions to our advantage, just going real slow, hoping to see or hear a buck before it runs into us, and then be set up.
Yep.
Because this line of travel, the scrape line that comes down across the middle of this ridge, I'm assuming there's a lot of travel from does just going over this ridge. There's fields and stuff that way. They're just cutting all those trails, coming down into here, and we're hoping to run into them and see them before they see us.
The cool thing, you know, when you're looking at this for a setup, I guess, is you could either come in here and set up and just plop down. The only thing that we don't love about that is if you're in one spot, you're limiting yourself to that deer coming, you know, right in front of you in that one spot. By still hunting up this edge, we've covered the whole thing, and we can read the sign. You know, even if we don't connect with a buck, we're learning about how these deer are using this area at a given time. And I think that's the most important thing that we're going to be doing when we're still hunting, is We're going to be hunting in the game, but we're also going to be learning more about what's going on right now. We're going to be able to tell if there's big buck sign in here and exactly how they're coming in and out of this bedding area.
You'll know exactly where you need to be the second time.
Right.
And as a viewer, this would be really exciting for you because you're just one person likely. You don't have a cameraman and a hunter, so it's a lot easier to still hunt with one person.
Right. Cool thing is if we're creeping along this edge, for example, and we're looking down this lane and we start hearing something either down below or up above, there's tons of thick cover. It would be as easy as just plopping down right here and you've got a shooting lane at any deer coming down through this area. I mean, there's an infinite amount of spots that you can tuck in. There's lots of cedars, lots of young vegetation, and I just really think that's going to allow us to ease down this edge, really listening, and like Jake said, probably on a calm day, we're going to be able to walk down this really quietly ourselves. We're going to hear deer coming from a long way away. I can dig. All right, so we're back down here on the transition. Down here below is the bottom field where we saw that big buck. Right up here is where we were just walking through that bedding area, and the lane is right up on top. This side hill that goes this way is where we expect the deer to be bedding. We expect them to be coming from crop fields in this direction and coming back from that direction way up on top of the hill. Right here is somebody's trail camera, and it's on a really good spot. They've also got a tree stand up there. Right about 35 yards up there, there's a stand, and the guy is hunting the transition right on the property boundary.
And right on the outside of where good bedding is.
Yeah, he's in a really good
He's
spot.
Actually right on, but this camera's right where a buck could be bedded, and that's what we first came here expecting or hoping to find. But that's why we're out here. We found that someone has a stand there in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully he's putting enough pressure on these deer to move them back up kind of where we're going to push in to hunt now.
I think with that hunting pressure there, we're going to just try to get right in the middle of it. There's going to be hunting pressure on the outsides of these bedding areas, and sometimes you just got to get right in the middle. And I think with that lane, we got a really good option. We're going to walk down, check the access at this creek, and we're going to walk this creek out, just try to find anything new that we've never seen before, and then get out of here and look at the map. Talk about it. Just talk about it way too much. Talk about, hey, what'll be tonight at like midnight? We'll be sitting there and we'll be like, man, do you remember when that big buck was out there? And be like, yeah, man, I can't wait to hunt there.
We probably still won't even come here this fall and hunt.
Yeah. Probably get too busy other places and then never come here.
You got it. You want one?
Make that.
You just gotta attack it.
You gotta go, boy.
You get up there, Danny? Easy enough.
Big one, coming right at you.
Well, good evening, friends. I'm out here doing some hardcore velvet scouting from the gravel road tonight, as you can tell. I just drove past this field up here in front of me. There's a bunch of bucks in it. This is an alfalfa field, I think, that we traditionally see them in this time of year. It's a private field, that's why I'm up here on the road. But back behind this field is all public land. And we've scouted it all before. It's actually back over my shoulder there to the, I guess that'd be to the north. Got the Hummer parked there. I just got a new little product from my spotting scope. This phone scope here. I think it's pretty cool. It's my first time trying it. But we're gonna get up here, see if we can get to a high spot and film some of these bucks through the cell phone. A couple of them look big. There's one out here we call Dirty Frank. He was here last year. Great big old nasty looking thing. Try to make it another 75 yards or so in this ditch. Oh shoot, there's a deer in the road ditch up there. At least I think it's a deer. No, it's a bush. It's alright, we're good. This field's always full of deer, but that's just it. It's a private field. But most of the good bedding is located way back on the public land. So come fall, chances are pretty good that those bucks could be back there on the property that we can hunt. Trying to get to a vantage point. Oh yeah, they're all out there. I can see them. There they are. There's a bunch of them, bunch of bucks. I'll be right back with you. I don't know if that's Dirty Frank or not, but he's pretty big. There's a bunch of deer out here on the alfalfa. Unfortunately, when I snuck up here in the ditch behind me, I think a few of them saw me and took off running. But right now, I'm recording a bunch of cool footage of him. This phone scope deal is pretty sweet. Just attaches right to your spotter. And I mean, you can see so much detail with it. I'm actually recording in 4K right now on my iPhone 8. So when we get this back to Greg's house, we ought to be able to blow this footage up. It should be pretty sweet. But when I got up here, there was probably 10 to 12 bucks out in this field. And these bucks that just came out of that back corner behind me came right out of public land. So, pretty encouraging, especially given the fact we've already scouted those woods. We did that last summer. We haven't been in there this year yet. But there's a lot of really good buck bedding down in those woods. A lot of deer on this alfalfa. And that's why I'm staying in the edge of the ditch here. You can see I'm in the road ditch. There's a big old buck too. I think there may be some more coming out right now. Over there where they ran off a while ago. They haven't spotted me yet. Learn a lot from the road. Just coming out and cruising around your public areas. You know, if you only got an hour left of daylight or something after work, learn a lot from these little scouting trips like this. Most of the best bucks that I've seen tonight out here in this field came out of the back corner, out of public land, out of a very well used buck bedding area that we know about. And it's not very far. I mean, it's only 400 or 500 yards to that buck bedding area from where I'm standing right here, but it's landlocked. So you got to come in from 1.5 miles or so to the east. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get back in there. I'm sure that's why those bucks are there. Look at him. It's the best one that I saw tonight. He's still in the phone scope. Right up there. Put a link or something for you guys in the description so y'all can check that out. But pretty good night of scouting. Time to head to the house, get something to eat. Thank y'all for joining me.